Yes! We're number frickin' one! We are number one in the nation after this game. It is undisputable. We are the number one frickin' team in the nation. Yes! We're the number one team in the nation. We locked it up. It's over. Well, it's not over. We're number one in the nation. And Trevion Williams, the guy who freaking at the end went, yes, sir. With 13 points, 18 rebounds, and I'm pretty sure like a steal and a block and 3 assists. Beastly game from him. Jaden Ivey with 19 points and 2 steals. Beastly game from him. Stefanovic hitting down a few shots. Zach Edey hitting down a few shots and getting 7 boards. Caleb First hitting down a few shots, getting 7 boards. Off the bench, also you had I already said Stefanovic, I think, hitting a few. Eric Hunter, clutch free throws at the end. He did miss one, but he made the one that mattered. Ice in his veins. There's one player off the bench that I want to save best for last. He's my favorite. He's one of my favorite players. Isaiah Thompson, he had a pretty good game. That dude is tough. Like, I don't care that he's only like 6'1" and 90 pounds, but the dude's freaking tough. Nobody can ever say that he isn't. He's freaking warrior. Ethan Morton was decent. Brandon Newman, he was a bit cold in the first half, and then the second half, late in the second half came, hit threes, helped us get up big. And then Mason Gillis, who I feel like is probably going to be the most underrated part of this win. He was absolutely vital to us winning this game, especially in the later minutes when we were starting to let it go. Him and his high motor, his high intensity, his drive, he was wrapping up, getting tie-ups, and some of those tie-ups led to us keeping possession of the ball, which led to points, which led to us not ultimately blowing our 20-point lead. So he was a vital part of this win. He scored 12 points. He only missed one shot, hit 12 points, 3 rebounds, a block, and I think an assist too. So his defense didn't really show up in the box score with blocks and steals, but if you watch the film, you watch how he played, it's just normal Mason Gillis play style. He's freaking on the floor trying to dive and get a ball. He's gritting, he's grinding. He is doing Mason Gillis things, and he drew multiple fouls under the basket, which again, he's there to get under the basket and draw fouls on offense. Also do that on defense. Dive on the floor, get tie-ups, get steals, hustle plays, get blocks, and even hit down a few threes, which he does, because he's actually a decent three-point shooter. I think he's probably one of the most underrated players on this whole freaking team. Mason Gillis is a beast. There's a reason he's my favorite player, because the dude just doesn't stop. As soon as he enters the court, as soon as he gets on the floor, it's just he's locked in. He's going to do whatever it takes to win. There's a reason I compare him to Dennis Rodman. Like, the dude is just a freaking high motor player, and I love it. So this Purdue team is the best that I've ever seen. And I watched that 2018 team that went to the Elite Eight with Carson Edwards and Trevion Williams with Sasha Stefanovic were just freshmen. You had Noel Eastern. That was a great team. That was one of the best teams we had in a while. But this team, it is going to be ranked. This is going to be the first Purdue team to be ranked number 1 in the nation. So I don't think it is a stretch, especially with how dominant they have been. I don't think it's a stretch for me to say that they're the best Purdue team in the program's history in the past 20, 30 years, maybe just history, period. I don't think it's that far of a stretch to say that this is the best team in program history, period. Granted, I didn't get to grow up watching some of those really good Gene Katie teams, so maybe if I got to grow up watching those, I wouldn't be saying this. Maybe it's just because I've only gotten to see Purdue basketball from when I was born in 2006 to now. So maybe if I'm older, those 90s and 80s and 70s teams, I'd be saying some of them were better. But in my opinion, this is the best team in program history. If you can't agree with that, you can at least agree that it's the best team in the past 10 to 15 years for Purdue. And it's just amazing. Like, Trevion Williams, the man from Henry Ford Academy in Chicago, Illinois. The man is a beast. He's coming off the bench and putting up these types of numbers. And it's good to have Edey and Williams, because if they stop Edey, then they have Williams to deal with. If they stop Trevion, then they have Zach Edey to deal with. And they're different styles of player. The way we use them is different. So they don't have enough time to game plan for both of them. They really only can neutralize one at a time while focusing on the rest of the guys on the team. It's just we have so many threats on this team that you can't, if you shut one guy down, there's freaking 4 or 5 more other guys who could go off for just as much production as the guy that you're trying to shut down. I mean, we remember Brandon Newman's like 30 point game from last year. Brandon Newman could go off. Jaden Ivey can go off. I mean, the whole starting 5 can go off. Jaden Ivey, Zach Edey. I think even Caleb First could possibly go off. Isaiah Thompson could go off. What crack am I smoking to where I can't? Like I said, Brandon Newman could go off. Trevion Williams could go off. Mason Gillis could even go off on the offensive side. Eric Hunter, that dude's a decently explosive athlete. Sasha Stavanovich could definitely go off if he gets hot from 3. Probably like the only guys that I couldn't see going off for a ton of points is like Ethan Morton. I think that's about it. I think everyone else could easily go off for like a 20-point game at some point in the season if they get the ball enough. I mean, we've seen Isaiah Thompson. For those of you who probably would argue with me about the Isaiah Thompson, like, we've seen him go off for like 11, 15-point games before. He could definitely go off for 20 this year in my mind. So it's just this Purdue team is so good and so dominant that you can't neutralize all the players. And if you don't neutralize all of our players, then you have no chance of 100% closing the book on us winning a basketball game. Because that one player could go off and win us the whole game. And I just love the passion and the fight, and just it's a Matt Painter team. It is the definition of what Matt Painter wants in a team. It's passionate, it's tough, it's physical. It makes 3-point shots while playing post offense beautifully, banging in the post, getting rebounds. It is an all-around team. It is complete. There isn't really some big hole in our team's style. Sometimes I think our hole is probably like that with the turnovers. We don't handle full court presses the best. For whatever reason, our basketball IQ, whenever a full court happens, is just it goes away. But that's really the only hole in this team, is sometimes we're inconsistent in certain things. But usually when we're inconsistent in one thing, we're consistent in another thing that makes up for it. So it's just this team is too good to let one disadvantage stop us, or even 2 disadvantages stop us. It's too good to let that stop them from winning a ball game. It's a beautiful team to watch. And I'm glad that it's here, because freaking all the other basketball teams in Indiana suck. I am lucky to be a part of the Purdue fan base and not a part of the IU fan base right now, because the IU fan base is dealing with IU and the Pacers. That's tough. And since IU fans like to talk about how the Purdue fan base is a smaller fan base, I guess I'm just part of the 1%. I'll see you guys next time. As always, I'm not funny. And we open up Big Ten conference play. I'm pretty sure right now we're number 1 in the Big Ten as far as the conference standings go. Beautiful game. So proud of everybody. Like, This team's beautiful to watch. I love it. I love it. It's how I like basketball to be played. It's how I think anybody likes basketball to be played, because it has something in there for everybody. If you like physicality, it's got physicality. If you like a more athletic style of play, it's got that. If you like shooting, it's got shooting. Like, it's got everything. It's got everything for everybody. I think maybe some of the younger college basketball fans might gravitate to this team, and we might have a whole new generation of Purdue fans coming in. It might become more popular, just because being ranked number one does that to a team sometimes. But I've been here since day one. My dad went to Purdue. That's why I'm a Purdue fan. So I got my day one card ready. You know, when this team gets overrun by bandwagons. I've been here since day one, and everyone here can vouch for me. I'll see you guys next time.
Just got unlucky on a few plays tonight. You know, one of those plays, I thought he was standing still, but he just hit the shit out of that one guy, and the guy went flying. They blew the whistle, and they called it on him.